in your Bethune-Cookman University Wildcats. Starting lineup for the Bulldogs. Batting first, designated hitter, number 7, Jalen Ford. Batting second, left fielder, number 6, Holly Lloyd. Now the third, third baseman, number 4, Tommy Easy. Batting fourth, first baseman, number 25, Will Martin. Batting fifth, center fielder, number 1, Chevalier Doris. Batting sixth, second baseman, number 11, Jennifer Slot. Batting seventh, left fielder, number 3, Bryson King. Batting eighth, catcher, number 10, Garrett Quebec. Batting ninth, shortstop, number 2, CJ Morales. Starting pitcher for the Bulldogs, number 19, Tyler Campbell. Bulldogs on foot by Elliot Wells.
Santos is still fourth in the strike.
I know, that's crazy. It's the start.
And now for your Bethune-Cookman University Wildcats. Batting first, left fielder, number 34, Gary Shaw. Batting second, right fielder, number 4, Island Hall. Batting third, first baseman, number 35, Boris India. Batting fourth, designated hitter, number 31, Robert Boya. Batting fifth, catcher, number 22, Irvin Escobar. Batting sixth, center fielder, number 24, Jason Hodges. Batting seventh, second baseman, number 2, Colton Olesen. Batting eighth, shortstop, number 25, Jeremy Garcia. Batting ninth, third baseman, number 13, Brian Loret. Starting pitcher for your Wildcats, number 18, Noah Sito. Wildcats second spot, Johnny Hernandez. May you all please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
Well, live from Jackie Robinson Ballpark in beautiful downtown Daytona Beach, Florida, tonight's broadcast of Bethune-Cookman University Baseball on the Cat Eye Network is on the air. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Trurillo. Happy to have your company and happy to have the company of Bryce Hoynoski. Well, Bryce, we've hit the home stretch. There's 3 more conference series to go before we are headed, hopefully, to the conference tournament up in Atlanta. Tonight, a 4-game set with the Alabama State Bulldogs begins after 2 rainouts up in Huntsville earlier this year.
Yeah, Mike, and you know as well as I do, this Alabama A&M team has struggled mightily this season. Fewest wins across the SWAC in either division. The stats won't necessarily reflect a team that should have a record any different than that, but you know as well as I do that at any level of baseball, teams like this would love nothing more at the end of the season than to catch someone sleeping and play spoiler. So the Wildcats have to be careful here to really dig in, play their game, and make sure they take each one of these games seriously.
Alabama A&M 12-25 overall, 3-16 in the SWAC this year. Bethune-Cookman 21-22 after a Wednesday evening loss to Florida International, in which the Wildcats trailed by 7 but rallied to score 6 straight runs and lose only 7-6. And an ending of the game, Bryce, that should give the Wildcats some momentum heading into this crucial conference series.
Absolutely, Mike. You know, there's a lot of positives to take from that game. We talked about a lot of those Wednesday night, whether it be some outstanding defense across the diamond and into the outfield. We had that furious rally at the end that really was a couple of feet here or there away from being a win for the Wildcats. From midweek, late in the season, you got to take the good away from those games and push it into another critical SWAC weekend.
And you see Irvin Escobar, who starts behind the plate tonight as the battery made for Nolan Santos. He came in as a pinch hitter at the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, and was about maybe 8 feet away from giving the Wildcats a walk-off win to dead center.
No sense in putting yourself in a lot of different what-if situations. If you're the Wildcats, you just brush it aside, you take what you can away, and you prepare for Alabama A&M.
Rest of the lineup for Bethune-Cookman tonight. Garrett Chun plays left field, Highland Hall in right. Boris Pena returns after a day off on Wednesday to play first base. Robert Moy is the designated hitter. Irvin Escobar is the catcher. Jason Hodges in center field. The second baseman is Colton Olison, returning from a small injury. Jeremy Garcia at shortstop, and Brian Perez at third. And on the hill, it's the number 4 strikeout leader in the country in all of Division I. It's Nolan Santos. He faces the Alabama A&M lineup that looks like this. Jalen Ford, the designated hitter, leads off. The left fielder, Mekhi Lloyd, bats second. The third baseman batting third is Tommy Easley. Batting fourth, the first baseman, Blake Martin. Batting fifth, the center fielder, Chevalier Doris. Batting sixth, the second baseman, Chandler Stocking. Batting seventh, right fielder, Bryson Hammonds. Batting eighth, the catcher, Jared Trebet. And rounding out the lineup is the shortstop, C.J. Mervillis. And when the A&M Bulldogs take the field, their starting pitcher will be Tyler Campbell. Jalen Ford, the designated hitter, is set to lead off for Alabama A&M, wearing their maroon helmets, digital camo, desert-style uniforms with the maroon Alabama A&M across the front, maroon numbers with a white trim, and white pants with a black stripe. The Wildcats in all white with black trimming on the letters and numbers. First pitch from Santos is a fastball strike outside corner, and black hats for the Wildcats tonight as well. It was team picture day before we started playing today for Bethune-Cookman, as this pitch is foul away to the left, and it's 0-2.
Alabama A&M tonight looking like one of the Daytona Tortugas theme nights that I'm sure we'll see plenty of this season.
Yeah. Military appreciation style jerseys with the American flag on the sleeve. Fastball misses upstairs, 1-2. Jalen Ford is a .254 hitter and 59 at-bats. He's got 17 runs on 15 hits, 1 homer, and 20 RBIs. Breaking ball catches the outside corner for strike 3, and Ford goes down looking.
I mean, what else can you say about Nolan Santos? I'm sure we'll say plenty of it tonight. The guy has just been outstanding from start to finish of this season. Guy who didn't open last season as a regular weekend starter. He has seized the Friday night role and run with it.
Strikeout number 92 on the season for Nolan Santos to start the game. This one from Mekhi Lloyd is chopped right back to Pena at first, and he calmly steps on the bag, and there are 2 away.
In these games for the Wildcats thus far this season, it's been a lot of aggressive swinging from both sides, whether that be a factor of just playing in the SWAC or maybe a new era of baseball. We've seen some quick starts to these games lately.
Here is Tommy Easley, the third baseman. Easley is the best hitter on this Alabama A&M team by batting average, as a slider finds the inside corner for strike 1. Easley, a .357 hitter, the only Bulldog batting over 300. 129 at-bats, also leads the team. 31 runs on 46 hits, 4 homers, and 40 RBIs. Every stat I just mentioned to you is a team high.
Big swing and a miss on an off-speed from Santos on that one.
0-2, Santos trying to get out of this inning quickly. Another off speed, and he rung him up on the inside corner. Escobar drops the ball, but taps easily on the rear end to retire the side. 1-2-3 go the Bulldogs. We head to the bottom of the first with Alabama A&M nothing. Wildcats coming to bat right here on the Cat-Eye Network. Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Ballpark for the first of a 4-game weekend series between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. We head to the bottom of the first. The starting pitcher today for Alabama A&M is Tyler Campbell. He's number 2 on the team in ERA behind Josue Espilat. He's got a .536 ERA. He's 2-1 in 13 appearances with 3 starts. This is his 4th start of the season. In 47 innings pitched, he's given up 47 runs on 68 hits, 28 of those earned, with 28 strikeouts and 12 walks, but has given up a team-high 11 doubles. Garrett Chun will lead off for Bethune-Cookman in the bottom of the first. He's playing left field today. Chun, a .305 hitter. 46 runs on 47 hits, excuse me. No homers, 14 RBIs for Chun, who has only very recently found himself in the leadoff spot. He takes a fastball at the letters for strike 1.
Garrett Chun, a guy who's played all but 1 game for the Wildcats this year. No Wildcat has appeared in more than Chun this season.
He's played all over the outfield, but really has kind of found a home in left. Check swing. He did not go emphatically, says the third base umpire Tony Young. We could hear that from all the way up here.
No doubt about that one. He did not swing.
No, the count 1-1. And the lefty Campbell deals inside and high 2-1. And something that we mentioned before the game, and you've been harping on it all year, is it's important for the Wildcats to stay in counts and force these pitchers to work, especially in the SWAC where you can find some suspect bullpens across the league. This one, a breaking ball tipped back to the backstop, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, Mike, we saw it in the Mississippi Valley series in particular. We talked about this a bit pregame, where the Wildcats were really haunted by some of these starting pitchers that were really outstanding, but let them go deep into games by being, I think, overly aggressive.
Here's the 2-2. Shot back to the screen in a deja vu moment, and we'll do the 2-2 again. Couple of changes to the lineup tonight from Tuesday. Obviously, Irvin Escobar is in at catcher ahead of George Braceras. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball, chop foul to the screen for the 3rd straight time, and it's 2-2 again. And then, of course, Jason Hodges, which is a name that we haven't seen much of at home this season. He takes the center field spot from Malik Stevens and stays in the lineup. As the Wildcats have had to use a bit of their depth coming down the stretch this season. That 15-game road trip that they just returned from didn't help. Chun flares this one into right center. Doris tracking back, and it's over his head and over the wall for a ground rule double to lead it off for Garrett Chun.
Center fielder Doris is lucky on that one that it did bounce over the wall. A complete misread out there in center field. Looked like he had it tracked to start, but just came in on it a bit too much in his initial jump. So that ball sails over his head, and he has no choice but to run back on it.
Here's Highland Hall, a .342 hitter. He's played in 40 games for the Wildcats this season. 152 at-bats. He's got 38 runs on 52 hits, 4 homers, and 32 RBIs. That 32 RBIs is tied for the team lead with 3 other Wildcats, Robert Moya and Boris Pena. Excuse me, 2 other Wildcats. Moya is in my stat sheet twice. So it's been a bit of diversity at the top of the power report for the Wildcats this year, and it's something sorely needed after last year the Wildcats were a bit lacking at the plate, especially down the stretch.
The tandem of Hall, Pena, and Moya at 2-3-4 has been outstanding.
Hall flares this one high in the air down the first base side, not deep. Martin moving over makes the catch, and there's one away. And that's a very quiet out for Highland Hall, who usually puts him in play.
We saw Highland Hall on the mound to start the game Wednesday night.
And had a fair account of himself. Had a little bit of a hiccup at the second inning, but went 3 good innings.
Certainly a better look at him than we saw in very limited work back in Jacksonville. And now we have, it's like Garrett Chun up limping, running over to meet with the hitting coach, Jose Carballo. And
we're going to have a pinch runner here.
Not sure if maybe he stumbled on the bag or between pitches. Didn't exactly see what happened, but the Wildcats already having to deal with a fair amount of the injury bug late into the season. You hope Nothing long term.
So Malik Stevens is now at second, and it's eerily similar to the injury that sidelined Colton Olison for a couple of games. Of course, Colton back in the lineup tonight.
Wildcats will be more than happy to see his face back in the field and at the plate this season. He was having a career year here with the Wildcats.
So now Malik Stevens stands on second as the pinch runner. Here's Boris Pena. Pena swings and chops it foul right at the plate, 0-1. Boris, a 284 hitter and 141 at-bats. He's got 27 runs on 40 hits, 3 homers and 32 RBIs. This is not a power-hitting team, with Robert Moya leading the way with 6 home runs. Breaking ball misses outside, 1-1.
Yeah, Mike, and Boris Pena is another one of these Wildcats, 5 of them to be exact, that are over the 40-game mark this season. He's been a real Iron Man for the team, playing in left at first base. Had to take some reps at catcher. Never actually appeared at catcher this year, but could have been used there.
Big cut and miss at a fastball low and in, and it's 1-2. Pena coming back from a rare night off. Didn't feature at all on Wednesday, and you might have thought he would come in to pinch hit late in that game, but Coach Hernandez kept him on the bench.
Pena's got to be salivating at the idea of the SWAC tournament coming up. He was probably the team's biggest performer a year ago with a couple of big-time home runs to keep the Wildcats in some games.
Here's the 1-2. Chop foul, 1-2 again. Just 10 conference games left in the season. A 4-spot against Alabama A&M this week, as Pena chops this one foul right at Coach Carballo in the third base coach's box. 3 against Florida A&M next weekend, and then the Wildcats will finish the season against Jackson State with 3 games here, May 18th, 19th, and 20th. And, of course, the conference tournament starting a couple days later up in Atlanta. Wildcats not mathematically in yet. Got to keep winning to get there. That pitch is a fastball high, 2-2.
And then technically we had 2 rainouts back a month or so ago in Huntsville against Alabama A&M. I'm not sure what the approach would look like, if that game in hand for the Wildcats would come to mean anything later in the season, but we're only making up 1 of those 2 games this weekend.
Ground ball up the middle. Stocking is in position to make the play, but Chun does advance to third.
Kind of an swinging bunt type of play from Pena there. Looked like it got in on his hands a little bit, but impressive to put that kind of bounce on it even from that sort of swing.
Correction, Malik Stevens advances to third. I see Garrett Chun down there talking to our athletic trainer. He's still favoring that foot, and it doesn't look to be good for his prospects in this game.
Tough to tell from up here. Looks like he may have some ice on his upper thigh on the left side.
Here's Robert Moya, the team's power. He's a 324 hitter in 142 at-bats. He's got 37 runs on 46 hits, 6 homers and 32 RBIs. And Campbell's 1-0. Breaking ball misses high, and it's 2-0. Malik Stevens pinch running for the injured Garrett Chun, 90 feet away as the Wildcats try to break this one open early in the game. And offense in the first inning has been hard to come by for Bethune-Cookman this season. Usually a later in-game kind of team. Moya takes a slider strike on the inside, and it's 2-1. In the only game that these two teams have played so far this season, Bethune-Cookman won 12-10 and had to score 4 runs in the ninth to come back and win that game.
One of the wildest back and forths the Wildcats have seen this season for sure.
The 2-1, Moya chops it off of his foot foul, and he comes up limping.
Mike, I think it's interesting watching the starter Campbell work here. At this level of baseball and the way these guys are coached these days, we see a lot of guys work very quickly, but Campbell has been pretty slow to the plate consistently so far through this one. A lot slower than we're used to seeing, especially since we watch this Wildcat staff every day.
As long as he's inside the pitch clock, which is kept by the umpires, he's okay. Here's the 2-2 with 2 down. Moya pops this one foul. That'll make the seats down the right field line. Next year, there'll be the pitch clock active here at Jackie Robinson, as it is for the Daytona Tortugas when they play here.
Official ruling is any ballpark capable of hosting the technology is required to utilize it.
But that's next season, and this is right now. Moya, sharp ground ball foul down the third base line. And it's still 2-2.
Trying to keep an eye on Chun down there in the dugout. My immediate guess is maybe a cramp in the quad, maybe the hamstrings. Kind of sitting by himself right now, but obviously we hope for the best. Be a big-time loss for the Wildcats this late in the season.
Tyler Campbell up to 16 pitches so far in this first inning. Once again, the 2-2. Breaking ball hammered to right field. There's a base hit. Malik Stevens scores from third, and it's an RBI single for Robert Moya, and the Wildcats have a 1-0 lead.
Mike, I don't think many players on this BC roster are going to get to that ball like Robert Moya did. Going opposite field from a ball that's right up near his collarbone. Managed to get down enough on it and punch it out into right field. Nice piece of hitting.
Now with 2 down and a runner aboard at first, here's Irvin Escobar, who came into the season as an all-SWAC catcher, but has mostly sat behind George Braceras behind the plate this year. He swings and misses for strike 1.
I think that's a credit mostly to Braceras' skill at the plate, and I guess being a catcher is a little confusing. With the bat, I should say, he provides a lot more offensive pop, something the Wildcats lacked a lot of last season.
The 0-1, chop right back up the middle, stocking backhands, and will step on the bag at second himself for the fielder's choice to end the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 left. And we go to the second inning of play. Wildcats with a 1-0 lead right here on the Cat Eye Network. To the second inning we go. Wildcats with a 1-0 lead. Nolan Santos back on the hill after striking out 2 and getting the Bulldogs to go 1-2-3 in the first inning. Here's Blake Martin, the first baseman. And righty to righty, the first pitch is in there for a strike on the inside corner. And there's something satisfying about watching somebody, in this case Nolan Santos, be very good at something.
He is very good, Mike.
Tried to get the inside corner call again from home plate umpire Alvin King. Doesn't get it that time, and it's 1-1.
Santos has 6 double-digit strikeouts performance this year.
The 1-1 is tipped into the glove, and it's 1-2. Martin, a 281 hitter, 114 at-bats, 14 runs on 32 hits, 1 homer, 22 RBIs. The 1-2, and that's a third strikeout looking on the game already for Nolan Santos as he rings up Blake Martin on the outside.
I mean, to say these Alabama A&M hitters look dumbfounded at the plate right now is probably putting it lightly. We saw the last strikeout of the first inning was a big swing and a miss in the middle of the way. They have no idea what's coming from Santos at this point.
There was a call for a bunt there on the first pitch to Chevalier Doris, the center fielder, and it's outside for ball 1. This time inside, and it's 2-0. That ball looks like it has a fair amount of dirt on it, so Irvin Escobar replaces it, tosses it back to Santos. The 2-0. There's a fastball strike outside corner. Nolan's one of those guys that you almost kind of expect to see on that all-SWAC first-team graphic when it comes out in the next couple of weeks. This time it is hammered to center field, tailing away from, I believe that is Hodges out there, and he makes the catch. Malik Stevens has gone into play left, replacing Garrett Chun.
That's the first piece of solid contact we've seen from the Bulldogs tonight. Santos going primarily with the fastball on that at-bat and got sent back out quickly. Luckily for him, Jason Hodges tracked it down.
First pitch to Chandler Stocking is a ball. Stocking, a 261 hitter in 88 at-bats, as a breaking ball misses the zone inside 2-0. He's got 24 runs on 23 hits, no homers, 25 RBIs. Fouled away 2-1. Something that has changed from the first inning is Santos is not getting as many first pitch strikes. He was 3 for 3 on first pitch strikes in inning number 1.
Command has wavered a little bit more than it did in the first.
That time it's a fastball. In there for strike 2. Santos is somebody with a lot of variation in both speed and movement, as it's a swing and a miss to end the inning from Stocking. Once again, 1-2-3 go the Bulldogs, and we go to the bottom of the second. 1-0 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. Jason Hodges, who made the nice play in center field to keep the Bulldogs off the base pass in the top of the inning, leads off the bottom of the second for the Wildcats. They lead 1-0 here in the first game of a 4-game set at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. First pitch, a fastball strike outside from Campbell. The 0-1, inside almost hit Hodges. Hodges, a 236 hitter in 72 at-bats. He's got 15 runs on 17 hits, 2 homers and 10 RBIs. So he's got some power. And Campbell winds and fires the 1-1. Breaking ball didn't have any break on it and just flared away into the opposite batter's box, 2-1. We saw Campbell come up from his warm-up pitches at the top of the inning and sail his first one way over the catcher's head. This one chopped towards short. Mervelis has it and fires across the diamond for the out. And now the return of Colton Olison. Missed most of the road trip with an injury. This is his first game back.
Yeah, Mike, he tripped over the bag and first base line back in game against Florida midweeker and messed up his shoulder a little bit, but it's really great to see him back for the Wildcats. Batting in the 7th spot, which he hasn't seen any work in yet this season.
Usually either 9 or 1 for Colton Olison, but this time Coach Hernandez easing him back into the lineup and a little bit less of a pressure situation. One gone here in the bottom of the 2nd. First pitch to him was a strike. Campbell quickly into his motion again. And there's another strike on the inside corner. Campbell threw 25 pitches in the first inning, but has settled down a little bit here towards the bottom of the Wildcat order.
Working noticeably quicker now that he doesn't have runners on base to deal with.
And it's big swing and miss at a ball that dipped away from Colton Olison. First strikeout of the game for Campbell. And there are 2 away. That was the 29th strikeout on the season for Campbell, looking to surpass Evan Crenshaw for the team lead in strikeouts. Crenshaw comes into the night with 31. First pitch away inside, it almost hit Jeremy Garcia, who is a .284 hitter, 134 at-bats, 24 runs on 38 hits, 1 homer, 24 RBIs. A lot of room up the middle, corners playing in here for the Bulldogs. There's a fastball strike outside corner, 1-1. So they've completely changed their defensive alignment here, Bryce, because they were playing everybody up the middle, and now it's all down the lines.
It's credit to their scouting department.
The 1-1, big cut and miss at a slider away, and it's 1-2.
It's interesting because that play up the middle had helped them out with a handful of plays early in this game, some bouncing balls up the middle, but electing to scoot their guys a little further towards the foul lines.
A 1-2, upstairs 2-2. You see the dashed lines behind second base. Those are the new shift lines for the minor leagues this year that they are trialing for the majors. They don't really apply to us here in the NCAA. This one hit off the inside of the bat, high to right field, not deep. Hammonds makes the grab to retire the side. 1-2-3 go the Wildcats. We head to the 3rd with BCU holding a 1-0 lead over Alabama A&M right here on the Cat Eye Network. Top of the 3rd we go. Wildcats still up 1-0, courtesy of 6 up, 6 down ball from Nolan Santos. And here's Bryson Hammonds, who made the catch out in right field to end the bottom of the second inning. First pitch from Santos is fouled straight up into the air, and that'll go over the press box and back onto Orange Avenue.
Obviously, it's early in this one, but Nolan Santos has all the makings of a deep, deep outing here tonight.
Only 21 pitches coming into the inning. Breaking ball, that's a beauty. Right down the middle, and Hammonds didn't even offer.
These Bulldogs, the off-speed has really confused a lot of these batters, even more so than his best pitch, which is the fastball.
The 0-2, another breaking pitch, doesn't find the inside corner, and it's 1-2. Santos deals. This time, Hammonds sat on the breaking ball, but it only finds the glove of Hodges out in center, and he makes his second put out of the game, and then for out number 1.
That's a harder play than it looks for Hodges. The outfield was pulled way in on that play, so he had to make sure he nailed the read off the bat so that he could get back on it in time.
Here's the 8-hole hitter, Jared Trebet. Trebet, the catcher, a .225 hitter, 80 at-bats, 17 runs on 18 hits, 4 homers, tied for the team lead and 20 RBIs. That's tied with Tommy Easley. Nobody else on this Bulldogs team has more than 1, so kind of like the Wildcats, not really a power-hitting unit. The 1-1 fouled away 1-2.
Defense of the Wildcats, of course, playing here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark is a pretty tough park to hit it out. Some of these other swag ballparks are a little friendlier than that.
317 down the left field line, 325 to right, 400 to straightaway center. Swing and a miss at a bouncing ball. Escobar does a good job to corral it and throw to first to complete the 5th strikeout of the game so far for Nolan Santos, and there are 2 away.
Santos' season high is 13 in a game in 7 innings against Mississippi Valley State back on April 14th.
That's just a crazy stat.
He is good at what he does, Mike.
We sat here and broadcast that game where he had 13 strikeouts in 7 innings, and I still almost don't believe that it happened. Here's the 9th hitter, C.J. Mervillis, and he fouls one away 0-1. Mervillis is batting just .192, lowest batting average of all the starters for the Bulldogs today. And he hits this one high in the air behind the second base bag, and you know Nolan Santos is catching that one. 1, 2, 3 for 3 straight innings go the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, and we head to the bottom of the 3rd, 1-0 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. To the bottom of the 3rd we go here. Wildcats still with a 1-0 lead by way of Garrett Chun's ground rule double and Robert Moya's RBI single. And we hit the 9-hole hitter to lead us off with Brian Perez. Perez batting just .156 in 77 at-bats, 9 runs on 12 hits, no homers, 6 RBIs. Only 14 total bases. That's the lowest of any Wildcat starter today. But he hits this one high in the air to left field and deep. Back, track, wall. It is way gone. One pitch swinging over the Radiology Associates scoreboard in left field, and it is 2-0 Wildcats on the first home run of the season for Brian Perez.
And for those keeping track at home, that'll add 4 total bases to that tally for this year. He got every bit of that one. I'm not sure we've seen a ball crushed like that this season here at the Jack. We've seen some long home runs, but the contact out there to deep, deep left center, that is a bomb.
Here is Malik Stevens in place of the injured Garrett Sean. Will take over batting in the leadoff spot and playing left field. Takes a first pitch strike outside. As opposed to hardest hit balls in the park this year, we don't have access to StatCast. But I would put that one up there as Stevens fouls one straight back 0-2. I would put that one up there with Robert Moya's home run he hit on Sunday against Mississippi Valley that went over the bullpen, over the batter's cage in left, right down the line.
Seems like when the Wildcats get a hold of one, they are not cheapies.
Nope. Ooh. Campbell thought he rung up Malik Stevens there, but it's ball 1. Now the count 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Stevens crushes that one foul into the Budweiser bullpen. That one also looked like home run distance, just not home run accuracy. So the Wildcats really seeing Campbell well now in the 3rd inning. Once again, the 1-2. Way outside 2-2. And back to the home run. You know you've got all of it when the outfielder doesn't even bother running all the way to the track. Lloyd just kind of stopped and watched it go after taking about 5 steps backwards. He knew it was way out of here. Stevens fouls one off to the right-hand side. It's 2-2.
And Mike, I think everybody within a mile radius of this ballpark knew that ball was gone.
Yeah, there's a art festival going on Main Street today. Wouldn't be surprised if that landed in somebody's painting. That one was way out of here. Here's the 2-2 to Stevens. Breaking ball, hammered to left. Back goes Lloyd. He looks up. It is out of here. Into the batting cages for Malik Stevens. Back to back go the Wildcats, and it's 3-0.
Well, it's kind of one of those hits you see coming after the foul ball we saw down the other side of the foul line. That ball not quite as far as Mr. Perez's shot, but it goes down as a home run either way. No kidding, Mike. These guys are seeing Campbell significantly better than they have early on in this game.
First home run of the season for Malik Stevens as well, so how about a back-to-back of broken ducks in the home run department for the Wildcats to lead off the inning.
Stevens, of course, a guy who tied for the team lead last year with 6.
Here's Highland Hall, and a guy with 4 home runs already, and we know the Washington State transfer can tee off on one if he gets something he likes. First pitch to him outside, and it's 1-0.
And those 2 pitches that we saw Stevens and Perez go yard on really were meatballs for all intents and purposes. Right down the heart of the plate, and they did not miss it.
Correction, the count 1-1. And Campbell deals right down the middle of fastball 1-2. You'd think after your pitcher just gave up 2 tanks to start an inning, you'd have some sort of action down to the bullpen, but the yellow and maroon jerseys stay put.
Long weekend coming up. Got to save some arms.
Campbell's 1-2, hammered in the hole and through the glove of Mervillis. And it's a single for Highland Hall. Maybe not as loud as his 2 compatriots, but that's still hard off the bat. And we've got a runner aboard with nobody out.
Yeah, Mike, you don't see many grounders through the infield hit much harder than that. I think these Wildcats are licking their lips to get to the plate the way that Campbell's been throwing the ball these last couple of batters.
And, you know, you think about the lineup coming up, Pena, Moya, Escobar. That's the heart of the order.
Could get ugly quickly.
Breaking ball misses outside to Boris Pena. Pena grounded out to second his first time up. with Highland Hall at first and nobody gone. The lefty deals, and Pena swings and chops it foul. And you can tell that everybody that comes to the plate for Bethune-Cookman right now is chomping at the bit, because that maybe wasn't the pitch to swing at, but Pena still gave it a rip.
But it's still important to make sure we work into the count, get the pitch we need.
Hall goes, and the pitch is popped sky high to right field. Highland's going to have to race back to first as Hammonds comes in to make the catch. A little bit of confusion between him and Stocking, as that was a hit and run, and Pena just popped it straight up in the air for out number 1.
A very rare hit and run. Don't see that a lot in baseball in 2023, but that was another pitch that if Pena gets a hold of that a little bit better, could have gone a long way. Another one that touched the heart of the plate, flirting with disaster.
And now, with 2 home runs already in the inning, here's the Wildcats' home run king, Robert Moya. He's got 6 on the year. And if he gets hold of one, it's going to fly a mile, but it's away outside the first pitch, 1-0.
Moya got on a bit of a roll with the home runs in the middle of the season, but now it's been a bit. His last home run came on April 21st back at Alabama State.
The 1-0 from Campbell inside 2-0.
Of course, Moya riding what's now a 25-game reach base streak after he had an intentional walk and a fielder's choice
Well,
on
it's
Wednesday.
now 26 because he singled in the first.
Make that 26. Longest by a Wildcat this season.
Right down the middle for a strike. Moya taking all the way. And we said this about some of the Florida International relievers on Wednesday. You got to make the opponent throw strikes. If they're not going to give you anything, don't swing at it. Give them cheap strikes. The 2-1, chop foul 2-2. And really the Wildcats are just sitting on the breaking ball. That's where the 2 home runs have come from. The fastball has just induced some weak contact and some pop-ups.
We see that long look in from Campbell with the runners on base.
He's got that Glasnow-esque delivery. This one again popped sky high from Moya, who slams his bat, calling for the ball and making the catch is Mervillis, the shortstop. And there are 2 away.
A little frustration, maybe thought should have gotten a better hold of that pitch, but the way that Campbell's, of course, been throwing it, maybe just sad he didn't get to join the party for the inning.
And now with 2 straight soft pop-ups, here's Irvin Escobar with Highland Hall at first. Remember, 2 in the inning already on back-to-back solo shots by Brian Perez and Malik Stevens. And the first pitch is outside 1-0. And you mentioned the 4-game series. I wonder how long both teams will let their starting pitchers remain on the hill today. Here's a 1-0, outside 2-0. Escobar reached on a fielder's choice in the first. That ended the inning. Head in the count 2-0 against Campbell. And the runner goes. Throwing down to second is Trebet. The throw is way late, and it's a stolen base for Highland Hall.
Highland Hall, no doubt the most athletic guy on this Wildcats roster, can do a little bit of everything.
He leads the team in stolen bases. That's his 5th on the year.
Which is crazy from the Wildcats team we saw last year with multiple guys over 20.
There's not a lot of speed on this team this year.
I think it's also just a little bit of a different approach offensively.
The 3-0 straight down the middle. Escobar not taking the bat off his shoulder, 3-1.
A lot of times last year, Malik Stevens in that leadoff spot, a lot of the game plan offensively from Jose Carballo and the team was get him on base, steal, runner in scoring position.
Outside ball 4. Escobar takes his base, and would you believe that's the first walk of the game issued by either pitcher?
Irvin Escobar, one of the most patient guys, not only on this Wildcats team or even in the conference, but in all of NCAA baseball. He only has 4 strikeouts in conference play this season.
Here's Jason Hodges. Grounded out short his first time up. That began the second, and now he's got first and second 2 outs, and he hits this one right back up the middle at a base hit to center field. Rounding third and coming home is Hall. He will score. It's an RBI single for Hodges, and it's 4-0 Wildcats.
And with the way Nolan Santos has been throwing the ball to start this game, you never want to say it's game over, but if it gets any uglier for AAMU, it could be lights out early.
Escobar moves from first to third on the Hodges single, so there's runners on the corners for Colton Olesen, who struck out his first time up. And he'll be looking to get back in a big way after missing the last 14 games with a shoulder injury. Runners on the corners, 2 down. And Campbell's first pitch is hammered to left field and foul. That'll hit the top of the clubhouse. Off the bat, that looked pretty good.
Another hard hit ball. So when you start to worry every time they continue to pile up, one of them's going to find inside the 2 foul poles.
Olesen looking for some RBI on the season, only 10 so far. Breaking ball misses outside 1-1. Although Colton has had the 9 spot for most of the year, and in the couple games he wasn't there, he's leading off. Doesn't really give you a lot of opportunities for RBIs.
Definitely been a setup, man. But credit to him, his improvement year over year. Hit 238 last season. Was batting 303 before he went down.
This time he hits this one to center. Doris chasing back. He makes the catch, but a huge inning for the Wildcats. 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 left, and the Wildcats lead 4-0 as we head to the 4th right here on the Cat Eye Network. To the 4th inning we go. Wildcats have broken the game open. They lead 4-0 after a 3-run bottom of the 3rd. Back to the top of the order for Alabama A&M. And Jalen Ford hits this one off the end of the bat, and that's going to drop in to no man's land between Garcia and Stevens for the first hit of the game for Alabama A&M.
See how Santos' approach changes with the runner on base. First sign of adversity here tonight. 1 pitch into this one.
1 up, 1 down for, 9 up, 9 down for Santos first time through the order. And he only threw 31 pitches to get those 9 outs. Spin it a throwback to first. Here's Mekhi Lloyd grounded out to first his first time up. As the corner infield for Bethune-Cookman plays a potential bunt. I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama A&M tries to go small ball here. Fastball, strike, count 0-1. You can see Perez really charging in before the pitch. He was almost even with the mound. The 0-1 turning to bunt is Lloyd, and the pitch is outside, 1-1.
if you're AAMU against a guy like Nolan Santos, small ball is most definitely the way to go early in this ball game. Try to get some confidence for the guys, push a run across.
Runner goes, and it's fouled away into the bleachers down the left field line. When I left my house today, I almost thought we might be in trouble for a rainout, but because it was very overcast at about 4 p.m. this afternoon. But the weather has cleared. It is a beautiful day. About 75 degrees, partly cloudy here in Daytona Beach. The 1-2 spinning a throwback to first to check on Ford again. The wind, as it often does, is doing something completely different than when we were here last time. It is blowing softly out to left field, which may have helped those 2 home runs that the Wildcats hit last inning.
Not that they needed it.
Fastball misses outside 2-2. Another spin and throw back to first, and this time Jalen Ford is out, and there's one away. Third time's the charm for Santos.
A little bit of indecision there from Ford. Kind of stumbled. Not sure if he wasn't sure maybe with the motion if he shouldn't start running to second, but either way, out pretty easily at first.
Now the 2-2 to Lloyd. He swings and misses, but the ball gets away from Escobar, rolls to the backstop. So Lloyd will be aboard on a wild pitch. I'll be generous and call that a pass ball.
With Nolan Santos' stuff, it very well may be a wild pitch. We'll see what it's scored. Goes in as a wild pitch officially.
Okay, so I was wrong. Wild pitch.
So much for giving credit to Santos.
Yeah.
Our official score tonight, Brian Harvey's a little more ruthless with his decision.
Here's Tommy Easley, struck out looking to end the first for A&M. Easley, the only batter on this Bulldogs team to average above 300, batting .357. With a runner aboard and 1 out. Breaking ball slashes through the zone for strike 1.
Santos' breaking ball has been excellent tonight. AAMU still not really sure what to do with it.
Easley, a senior from Ackworth, Georgia, takes a ball upstairs for ball 1. Transfer from Lawson State Community College. And this one's fouled away 1-2. The Bulldogs, who began their season with a little bit of promise, have struggled later on in the campaign. They were swept away at Mississippi Valley State last weekend. The 1-2. Fastball, strike 3 called on the outside corner. Strikeout number 6 for Santos, and Easley goes down looking for the second straight time.
Speaking of easily, Nolan Santos really makes it look so easy out there. He doesn't have any long look-ins. He gets up and throws. He doesn't usually shake off the catcher. His delivery looks effortless, and guys are just completely baffled at the plate.
I'm trying to think of who Santos reminds me of at the big league level, and I'm kind of struggling to think who is just kind of have that easygoing, business-like attitude. This ball is popped high in the air from Blake Martin. Charging in to make the catches, Hodges. He's made 3 pretty impressive catches in center field today to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 4-0 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. To the bottom of the fourth we go here at Jackie Robinson. Wildcats lead by a score of 4-0 after a 3-run third in which they sent 8 batters to the plate. Wildcats trying to continue that offensive momentum. First pitch swinging from Jeremy Garcia. It very far, but foul down the left field line.
Campbell's going to have to settle into a groove here very quickly to save his bullpen. Give his guys a chance here. Climb back in this game.
Campbell's 0-1 is a big old lazy slider that is fanned at and missed by Garcia, count 0-2. That's a good adjustment by Campbell, trying to keep that breaking ball down and away. Because that's really what the Wildcats have been sitting on to get their hits so far in this contest. They've got 6 of them already, which is, I believe, as many hits as they had in the entirety of the FIU game on Wednesday.
Got to be careful throwing those kind of pitches if you're Campbell. When that breaks over the plate instead of off the plate, you run into big trouble.
Perez trying to start us off. Remember, just hitting 156 on the year. Watches that one outside for ball 1. Campbell up to 66 pitches on the game. And you kind of think, how long does the Alabama State coaching staff leave him out there? This one is flared straight over Stocking's head and into right field for a base hit. That was a seeing eye single if I've ever seen one.
Garcia taking what the pitcher Campbell gives him and punching it just over the infield. That'll work all the same as your hardest hit ground ball you've ever seen.
Elliott Jones is the head coach for Alabama A&M. He's assisted by Corbin Green, Ashanti Wheatley, and Lewis Whitlow. And here is Brian Perez, who led off the third with a solo shot to left. A bomb that went all the way over the old-time scoreboard. And he bats now with a runner on first and nobody out. Here's Campbell's 0-1. He spins and throws it back to first. Quick shout out for Dan Ryan, staff historian at BCU. He's downstairs with his son Sean taking in the game.
Shout out Dan.
Wild throw over to first. Martin did a good job of corralling that one and preventing it from heading to the Alabama A&M bullpen and giving a free base to Jeremy Garcia.
Both of these starters have been very conscious of the runner at first early in this game.
Garcia 3 steals on the season. This pitch, a fastball a little bit high, 1-1. I'm not sure up 4-0 how aggressive the Wildcats are going to be on the base paths. We did see Highland Hall steal a base in the last inning. It was a good thing, too, because it set up to score from second on the base hit by Hodges. Fastball outside, 2-1.
Yeah, and you know, Mike, with the way these bats have been working, starting last inning, there's not really any reason to push it and end up with outs on the base paths if you don't need to.
The 2-1 hammered past the diving Mervillis at shortstop and into left field. So 2 straight base hits to begin the inning. And the Wildcats have first and second, nobody out. And here comes the top of the order with Malik Stevens.
Like we just said, Mike, when the bats are clicking like they are, there's no need to manufacture a runner in scoring position when you can just as easily take what the starter is giving you and punch one through the infield.
Stevens, the senior from Willow Spring, North Carolina. And as you said, Bryce, he was the team leader in home runs last year. Just hit his first one of the season in the last inning. He squares to bunt and chops it foul. Of course, Stevens was an everyday player last year. This season, he's only started 9 games. Actually, he started 8 games. He didn't start today. He came into the first after an injury to Garrett Chun. Again, Chun, for the majority of the season, kind of took his spot in center field with Pena out in left. He squares to bunt again. This time a beauty down the third base line, and it's just barely going to roll foul.
That one would have laid down perfectly, and with the speed of Malik Stevens, nobody's catching him down the base pass on that one. But it's overall a credit to Stevens as well as Brian Perez, who have, solid starters for the Wildcats last year. I mean, Malik Stevens in particular was one of the driving forces behind the offense last year, but just staying back, waiting to hear his number called, putting in the work, doing what he needs to do when he gets the chance to play. He hasn't had a bad attitude about it. He gets in there, and we've seen some success from him, and it's good to see him and Brian Perez both showing some flashes of that tonight. It's a credit to the depth on this Wildcats team.
That last bunt is one of those times where you kind of wish you were playing on grass and dirt. Because if you're playing on grass and dirt instead of turf, that ball probably stays in fair territory. Stevens hits a towering fly ball to right. Hammonds comes in to make the catch. Garcia advances from second to third. Perez holds at first, so there's runners on the corners with one down. So Stevens does his job, whether with the sac fly or the bunt, and advances the runner.
That ball was dangerous out there for Hammonds. Kind of had a little bit of a slice to it, so it started to come back in by the time it finished out. A little flare out there.
It almost looked like Hammonds expected that to go deeper, more towards the track, and then had to retrace his steps to make the catch. Now here's Highland Hall. Singleton scored in the third after a stolen base off the RBI single by Jason Hodges. He's got runners on the corners and one down. Wildcats with a 4-0 lead and already 8 hits in the contest. Hall swings and chops one foul into the Bulldog dugout. Infield playing very far up the middle, spinning a throwback to first. Campbell is a guy that can go deep. On the 14th of last month against Florida A&M, he went 8 full innings, struck out 6. The 0-1 is a pitch out trying to get Perez stealing, but he holds true, and it's 1-1. And then Campbell, in 6 1/3 innings, last time out against Mississippi Valley State, threw 106 pitches.
Obviously a pitch-to-contact guy, as is nearly everybody on that AAMU staff.
In a game that ended up being a 13-7 win for Mississippi Valley.
Mississippi Valley now, for a team at the bottom of the conference, has proven dangerous this
The
season.
2-1, Hall hammers it into left center, and that is going to drop down and head to the wall. 1 run scores. Trying to score from first is Perez. He will get there without a throw. It's a 2 RBI double for Highland Hall, and the Wildcats have blown this one open. It's 6-0.
We just continue to see, Mike, how dangerous the middle of this Wildcats order can be. Hall, Pena, Moya, Chun at the top. You cannot come in with anything but your A game with those guys and not expect some damage. I don't imagine we'll see much longer from Campbell, although I don't see any activity down there yet.
Yeah, there is nobody even moving towards the Alabama A&M bullpen. And this, with 4 games over 3 days coming up, this may be Campbell's night to fall on a sword a little bit. To save the pitching for tomorrow, especially when we're going to have a doubleheader.
I believe, like you said, Mike, Alabama A&M not technically eliminated yet mathematically from
Playoffs. Nope, they are not. They would pretty much have to win out from here.
and get, I'm assuming, a lot of help.
Current standings in the SWAC Eastern Conference. Alabama State leads the way at 18-3. Florida A&M at 15-6. Bethune-Cookman 12-7. Jackson State occupies the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference at 9-12. Mississippi Valley State 6-17. Mississippi Valley State, with the way they're playing right now, maybe could have a claim to that 4th and final spot, but unfortunately their schedule does them no favors as they play Florida A&M and Alabama State 2 of their last 3 series.
We've seen the Delta Devils catch some of these teams sleeping early in the season. They took one from Alabama State early in the year. They Certainly gave the Wildcats some scares in their series here about a month ago or so.
Thankfully, the Wildcats took 6 games from the Delta Devils this season. Here's the 2-1. Hammered straight back up the middle. It's going to bounce in front of Doris. Rounding third and coming home is Hall. Here's the throw to the plate. It's cut off. It's an RBI single for Boris Pena. And the Wildcats have scored 7 runs.
Nothing but hard contact. Another great piece of hitting. The Wildcats are all over Campbell, as they have been all night.
The first 2 innings from Campbell were pretty good. Only 1 hit. He got that strikeout in the second inning, and we thought maybe this might be a pitcher's duel, but those 2 home runs back-to-back to begin the third inning from Perez and Stevens really kind of changed the mentality of this game, and it's been all Wildcats since then.
It's kind of interesting to see the AAMU manager come out, talk to his guy on the mound. Seems like maybe we should have seen that a little bit earlier here. Not sure if he's trying to give his guy in the bullpen time, but he's had all the time in the world to get some arms down there. Just now starting to see someone throw.
There is one working in the Bulldog bullpen. And maybe he's just telling Campbell, hey, finish out this inning and we'll get somebody in next time.
You'd have to imagine this is his final frame.
Here's Robert Moya. Had an RBI single in the first to score Malik Stevens, and then was caught on a fielder's choice to end the frame. And then in the second, he had a lazy pop out to the shortstop. Fastball upstairs, 1-0.
A lot less first pitch swinging tonight than we've seen from the Wildcats in the past.
Maybe a direct result of the way that the Wildcats came back. This could be a double play ball. Third to second to first. Double play and the inning is over. Nice defensive play by Easley, Stocking, and Martin to turn 2. But still, 3 runs on 4 hits and no one left on. We go to the 5th inning. Wildcats 7, Bulldogs nothing, right here on the Cat Eye Network. To the top of the 5th we go, and the my personal pick for the all-name team, Chevalier Doris, is up at the plate. And he swings and misses at a wicked fastball in on the hands, 0-1. Doris lined out to center in the second. That was the really impressive play from Jason Hodges. Glove across his body to make the catch. Swing and a miss.
The Wildcats, I mean, this lineup in particular, but all of the guys back there have such an athletic outfield. Stevens, Hodges, Hall. These guys can track down anything out there.
Here's the 0-2. Hit high in the air, foul into the bleachers down the left field line. And the count holds. Yeah, to your credit, all of the outfielders for Bethune-Cookman, I would not be surprised if they walked over to the track team and could do some damage over there.
Absolutely.
This time a breaking ball misses outside, trying to get Doris to chase. Doris, a junior from Raymond, Mississippi, and a transfer from Jackson State. Here's the 1-2. This time, he buckled him on the slider that touched the outside corner.
The off-speed for Nolan Santos tonight. I don't know how many more times I need to harp on it, but it has just been outstanding.
5 of the 7 strikeouts for Santos tonight looking.
No idea what to do with the off-speed pitch.
First pitch to Chandler Stocking is hit high in the air to right. Olesen leaves it for Hall, and nobody catches the ball. And Chandler Stocking is a boy with a 2-base error.
Defensive crew out there will have a little chat as to what exactly happened. It looked like Hall initially called off, lost it in the lights based on kind of the hand signal he was giving out there to Olesen.
I'm not sure who we're giving the error to. I'll wait for the official word on that. It looks like they gave him a hit on the scoreboard.
We'll see in a second when it pops up. He's here.
So here's Bryson Hammonds, flied out to center in the third for his first at-bat. Now with 1 out and a runner on second. Fastball strike outside corner. This is the first time the Bulldogs have had a runner reach second base today. They've had 2 runners on first.
And that ball is a tough one for Olesen to really call everybody off on, because obviously Highland Hall is going to have the best look at it. But at the same time, this is a guy in Olesen who always calls for that ball.
The 0-1 gets away from Santos, and it's upstairs 1-1. And I wonder, for Nolan, if you watch your defense, which has been so rock solid tonight, and for most of the season, the Wildcats have the best fielding percentage in the conference, make an error like that. What does that do to your mentality? I mean, now you got to deal with somebody on second. This one floated behind second base, and the black hole, Colton Olesen, gobbles that one up for out number 2.
And that's exactly why Olesen has the right to call off a guy like Highland Hall out there in right field, because another perfect read on that ball, jumps over to it quickly, makes the catch. I think if you're Santos, at the end of the day, you know the dudes you have out in the field and you trust them. Of course, we made a little error, mental mistake, but the athletes, the skill that's out in this outfield, in this infield for the Wildcats, it's got to be a confidence builder for Nolan Santos.
Now 2 down with Stocking on second. Here's Jared Trebet. Struck out his first time up. Takes a strike outside corner 0-1. So that play with the ball just kind of dropping in between 3 defenders reminds me of a similar play that we made earlier in the season, I believe in the South Florida game when they were here. That time it was in foul territory, and Olesen went all the way into the visitors' bullpen. There's a strike and a count 0-2. To track down a ball, Pena left it, thinking that he would make the catch, and he didn't. The ball just dropped in foul territory.
Coaches love to yell at their guys about communication, and we see the importance of it in plays like that.
0-2 to Trebet, trying to strand Stocking on second. Santos deals. Chopped foul behind the plate, and the count holds. So Seagull goes right past our window. Wonder if you could see that on the camera.
Sometimes we get seagulls, squirrels, every now and then some visits out here at the Jack.
We are a stone's throw away from the world's most famous beach, and on City Island that splits the Tomoka River. Santos, a long look into Escobar. Now he comes set. And the 0-2. Fouled away, we'll do it again. Get some more balls delivered to home plate umpire Alvin King. Umpire and crew tonight, King behind the plate, Charles Reddick at first, and Tony Young at third. All those should be familiar names to those of you who frequent our broadcasts. Very small group of umpires that work the SWAC games. Here's a third chance at an 0-2 pitch for Santos. Big time breaking ball, strike 3. Strikeout number 100 on the season for Nolan Santos ends the inning and strands Stocking at second. No runs, no hits, 1 error. and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. 7-0 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. Michael Travello, Bryce Wojnowski with you from Jackie Robinson Ballpark as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Wildcats with a 7-0 lead. And just a little bit of a point of order from our official scorer today. Brian, the reach of base by Chandler Stocking in the last inning has been given as a double and not an error.
One of those fun baseball things. Mental error can't really go in as an error on paper.
Here's Irvin Escobar. Fastball low. And the count 1-0. Tyler Campbell still in to pitch the 5th for the Bulldogs. That one finds the inside corner at the knees, 1-1. The junior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, transferring from Northwestern Junior College. Here's the 1-1, outside corner 2-1, excuse me. There is still somebody, a left-hander, lazily warming up in the bullpen. Down the right field line for Alabama A&M. This one is torched down the left field line and just foul. It had that, so the thing that we've been talking about a couple times this season where it hit off the clubhouse and bounced back fair, but that's technically a foul ball.
Yeah, we've had a couple that have bounced fair, then off the wall, and then back in, which technically should be a ground rule double. But funny enough, we've seen that called both ways. I don't think intentionally. I think the officials back in those games maybe missed that it hit off the wall.
It's one of those odd ground rules of this park. And it's all because there's that little fence between the left field foul line and the clubhouse. If they just took the foul line away and let the clubhouse be the out-of-bounds line, and it would solve that problem. Escobar still at the plate in a full count. I think the issue is, though, you don't want somebody chasing a ball running into a concrete wall at full speed. I think that's why the fence is there. Campbell's full count delivery is outside ball 4. Second walk of the day from Campbell and puts Escobar, the leadoff man, aboard. The pitcher throwing in the Bulldog bullpen is Terrence Sales, the redshirt freshman from Stone Mountain, Georgia. So we will let you know if and when he enters the ball game.
Campbell definitely showing some frustration just in the body language out there overall. Kind of looks tired, looks ready to be done for the night. Certainly can't blame him.
First pitch to Jason Hodges is away outside, and Trebet forced to track it into the opposite batter's box. Up to 94 pitches on the evening, Campbell, so can't be too much longer if his maximum on the season is 106. This time it is torched to left, going back, and the ball is over Lloyd's head and 2 hops to the wall. Oh no, it's over the wall. Ground rule double for Jason Hodges. It's the second ground rule double of the game. Garrett Chun led off the ball game with one in the first. And unfortunately, that was the play where he injured his leg and had to come out for Malik Stevens, who, of course, homered in the third inning.
That's another one of those plays that you kind of, a little unfortunate to be here at Jackie Robinson, just with the turf. Bounces that one over the outfield wall. We see a lot of ground rule doubles. Talking with the staff here at the Tortugas, they saw a big rise in those once the turf went in.
The ball just kind of skips off the turf like ice or concrete. Doesn't really have any play. Pitch away outside to Colton Olison. Olison 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop out to center. And he's got Escobar at third and Hodges at second with nobody out. And he fouls one straight back to the screen, 1-1. I think a bit of a hit and an RBI here would be a huge confidence builder for Colton, who's working his way back from a shoulder injury. That's really where it gets you, is at the plate. The 1-1, inside 2-1. Because if the injury is to his non-throwing shoulder, it's not that hard to get out and field ground balls and throw to first. But when you're torquing your entire body and trying to choke up on the bat and put the ball in play, that's when it really can bug you and you can aggravate it and make it worse. And that's why he was slowly inserted back into the lineup.
You can kind of see him between pitches. Will stretch it out a little bit. Will kind of roll his shoulders back. Doesn't necessarily look like it's bothering him, but it's certainly conscious in his mind.
The count is 2-2. With runners at second and third, nobody out here in the fifth. Campbell winds and fires. Breaking ball misses outside again. And Jared Trebet has had to do an acrobatics job a couple of times in this inning to save pitches from going to the backstop. As you can see, Campbell, if he's up in the high 90s pitch count now, slowly losing command. Count runs full, 3-2. Olison smacks this one to center for a base hit. Escobar scores. Hodges scores. It's a 2 RBI single for Olison, and it's 9-0 BCU.
There's that confidence boost you ordered, Mike. Olison, beautiful single there. Got all of that one. Picking up right where he left off back before the injury.
And to echo something you said earlier, it's all been hard contact for Bethune-Cookman. Nothing soft, nothing bloopy into the outfield. These are all hard line drives, ground balls, and we've seen 2 leave the yard so far tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately for Campbell, the Wildcats really haven't been fooled by much of what he's been throwing them tonight. They'll get the better of him here.
Rest of the schedule for Bethune-Cookman, as I believe this will be the end for Campbell, as in trots his replacement from the bullpen, that being Terrence Sales. I'll get you his numbers in a minute after I read you the remaining schedule for BCU on this season. After 4 games against Alabama A&M this week, including a doubleheader tomorrow, they'll play their final 2 non-conference games of the season, May 9th at Stetson and May 16th at UCF, in a conclusion of both of those home-and-home series.
Of course, Stetson, the only team the Wildcats have a midweek win against this season. They've kind of had the Hatters' number in the last couple of seasons.
See if they can do the double over the Hatters just like last year. And then the final 2 SWAC series of the season is a trip up to Tallahassee to play the team from the highest of 7 Hills, May 12th to 14th, and then we'll end the season right here, May 18th to 20th against Jackson State. And hopefully the series against Alabama A&M and Florida A&M go well enough that those Jackson State games aren't must-wins. The way that the standings are shaping up, there could still be a way that the Wildcats miss the playoffs. It is a long, long shot, but you got to keep winning towards the end of the season. And as Coach Hernandez told us before the game, you're really aiming for that 2nd seed.
Yeah, you know, the West in the SWAC is kind of an interesting setup with some of the teams at the bottom being really the dregs of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Alcorn State, Arkansas Pine Bluff, just programs that have really struggled for the past couple of years. So a lot of these teams, despite their records at the top, may not be nearly bringing the kind of firepower, the kind of skill that the 3 teams atop the East might. So for Coach Hernandez, it's kind of a matter of, as things continue to crystallize towards the end of the season, kind of finding a niche between 2 or 3 where you might feel comfortable. Not that you would ever play your way down, but with first place out of reach, time to start managing where you might be towards the end of the season.
And you definitely want to get that 2 seed so you avoid Alabama State in those early rounds. Because the Hornets have had the Wildcats' number so far this season, taking 4 of 6 from the Wildcats.
Of course, they swept them a couple of weekends back.
Didn't stop the Wildcats from having a triple play in one of those games.
Very strange play. Not exactly your traditional triple play, although I'm not sure many triple plays are traditional.
This is Terrence Sales on the mound here for Alabama A&M. He's got a 10.66 ERA, 1-0 in 8 appearances with no starts. And he flicks his wrist and throws it back to first. Olesen dives in safely. In 12 and 2/3 innings pitched, he's given up 11 runs on 15 hits, all earned. 12 strikeouts and 16 walks. The count 2-1 on Jeremy Garcia with Olesen at first and nobody out. Lazy throw over to first. In striking out Jared Trebet to end the top of the 5th, Nolan Santos picked up his 100th strikeout on the season, becoming only the 2nd player in all of Division I to reach that number, just behind Paul Skeens of LSU, who is way up there with 124.
LSU is an absolute wagon in college baseball this year.
Here's a 3-1 outside ball 4. And a walk to Jeremy Garcia, and runners on first and second for the Wildcats. The other pitchers that are up in the high 90s in the country is Florida's Hurston Waldrep, Stanford's Quinn Matthews, and Wake Forest's Josh Hartle, as well as Oklahoma State's Jaron Watts-Brown. So to have somebody from Bethune-Cookman up there in the mix with those programs, it's really important for the vision of this program in a national sense.
Santos, of course, broke the school record with 113 last season.
And with still, you'd think 2 more starts at least this season before the playoffs, he is on track to smash that record.
We've seen him get 13 in just 1 game. Be a sizable lead from his own record by season's end.
The 1-0 is a fastball upstairs. This is Brian Perez. He has had himself a banner day. Homered in the 3rd to lead off that inning, singled and scored in the 4th, and is now batting for the 3rd straight inning. And is ahead in the count 0-2. There's a strike fastball right down the middle from Sales. The Wildcats a big chance to get out of this game early as that ball skips past the Patrick Trebet. And to the backstop, the runners move up on the wild pitch. So now Olesen at 3rd and Garcia at 2nd.
Wildcats just 1 run away here from some danger for Alabama A&M in the form of the SWAC's 10-run rule. Of course, that won't apply until the end of the 7th inning.
Is this not like softball where you have a higher version? Because I think in softball it's 10 after 5 or like 20 after 3.
I'm not aware of that rule. If it gets that ugly here,
I think that's a high school rule.
Could be. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm not sure I've seen many softball games.
2nd straight walk to open Sales' trip to the mound as Perez gets on board, and we have bases loaded, nobody out, already 2 runs in the inning. As a quick recap, because this has been a long inning with the pitching change. Escobar led off the inning with a walk. Hodges moved runners to second and third with a ground rule double, and then Colton Olison singled to the right-hand side to score both of them. After that, Garcia walked and Perez walked after Sales took over from Campbell, and that's how we get to Malik Stevens with runners on all three bases with nobody out. Wildcats already up in this one. 8-0. Correction, 9-0. I missed filling in Hodges' run. Count 1-0 to Stevens, who had the second of the two Wildcat home runs today, and he is swinging for the fences again as he fans on that one, 1-1. That almost looked like a Vladimir Guerrero swing. He tried to take it off the ground and put it in the bleachers.
Stevens has had plenty of those kind of swings in his time as a Wildcat.
1-1, long, slow breaking ball finds the inside corner, 1-2.
Some of their dangerous type of breaking ball that can be sent out in a hurry if it finds the wrong spot on the plate.
Yeah, almost looked like a slurve somewhere between a slider and a curveball. The 1-1 is a fastball hit high in the air down the right field line. Racing towards it is Hammonds. He makes the catch. Tagging up at third is Olison. He'll stay there. What a catch from Hammonds as he reached across his body with the right hand and snagged it.
Kind of dangerous there. Had to deal with almost an overlap from the second baseman stalking. Ran out on him, nearly jeopardized the entire play, but credit to him for making the grab.
Hammond's done a bang-up job in right tonight. That's his fourth putout.
We've seen some really great plays in the outfield in this game.
And now here's Highland Hall, and if you trust anybody to really come up with a clutch hit, it's probably him. Popped out in the infield in the first, and then singled and scored in the third, doubled and scored in the fourth. Fastball inside corner, ball 1. Highland took the team lead in RBIs today. He's up to 34. And he hits this one foul straight back onto Orange Avenue, and it's 1-1. Thank you to all 43 of you joining us on the Cat Eye Network this evening. We appreciate your patronage both tonight and all season long. Only a couple more broadcasts left before the season is done. Highland Hall swings and misses so hard he falls over in the count 1-2.
Kind of a weird flat-footed swing from Hall there, almost like the leg kick didn't go through like it normally does. He was seeing Homer on that one.
It's another one of those breaking pitches that if Hall makes good contact, you're probably not seeing it again. But now he's behind on the count. At this point, with the bases loaded and 1 out, just got to put it in play here. Anything on the outfield scores 2 runs. The 1-2. Hall swings and hits it to short. Mervelis to Stocking on to first. What a snag by Martin as he stretches out to make the double play and end the inning. 2 runs, 2 hits, and the bases left loaded. We go to the top of the 6th, and it is 9-0 Bethune-Cookman right here on the Cat Eye Network. Nolan Santos on to continue his terrific start. 9-hole hitter C.J. Mervillis starts the inning off by watching a fastball strike on the outside corner. Mervillis has been involved defensively a couple of times tonight. He's been the middle of both of the double plays.
Santos at 56 pitches. Start this inning.
I think we might be getting a defensive substitution as the home plate umpire Alvin King checks his book. I'm not sure why else he would be.
Maybe making a late pitch hitter?
Now this is odd.
Maybe just a meeting? An official meeting? But he's doing a lot of writing. For
And so are the other two umpires as well. They're all writing something down. I cannot, for the life of me, think what this is. Always something new in baseball. There was the pitch clock violation on Wednesday that there was no signal. They just kept going, and we were very confused about what had happened.
Yeah, me and Mike were talking before the game here. There needs to be, especially with no digital clock for us to look at, there needs to be some kind of signal as to when it's a pitch clock violation. Because we assumed balk, but then the runners didn't advance, and it gets confusing for those of us who are getting paid to be here.
Well, Mervillis stands back in. The count is 0-1 and now 0-2 as he fouls off a fastball. So we are no closer to understanding why we just took about a 2-minute break.
Yeah, you got me.
And there's another strikeout. To begin the inning, Mervillis down on strikes for the first time tonight.
No surprise on the off-speed from Santos tonight. Maybe the best I've seen his off-speed pitch, at the very least, work for these batters tonight's game.
9 Ks for Nolan. Not sure if Nolan Santos or Nolan Ryan on the mound tonight for BCU. Here's the first pitch to the leadoff man, Jalen Ford, who struck out in the first and singled in the fourth, but was the victim of a pickoff. One of only 3 base runners for the Bulldogs today. Makai Lloyd should have been a strikeout, but reached on a wild pitch as the ball got by Escobar. And then there was the double from Chandler Stocking. Santos bounces one to the plate, and it's 2-1. A very workmanlike performance from Santos, as per his usual.
Kind of the MO of this Wildcat staff. Pitching coach Joel Sanchez.
I see Yohan Gonzalez down there, and he was trotting out to the bullpen, and now he's making his way back to the dugout. Wildcats hopefully not having to use any other arms except Santos tonight. Especially if this game can go only 7 innings. The Wildcats need one more run to trigger that. This one hit off the end of the bat to left field. Malik Stevens has plenty of room to get over there and make the catch. And once again, he makes it look easy, but going to your opposite side and making the catch like that pretty much on the run, it's not an easy play.
My thoughts exactly, Mike. The Wildcats are so spoiled with just the athleticism in the outfield, the speed to be able to track that down. To us, it just looks like a light jog out there for him, but he's on that ball quickly.
Here's Makai Lloyd, who did reach on that wild pitch in the 4th inning. And really, if you think about it, the pickoff on Jalen Ford, the pitch previous, was really important because swing and a miss, the count 1-1. If they get runners on first and second at that point, it would have been first, second, nobody out, and who knows how the inning would have progressed from there. Here's the 1-1. Santos just misses outside with the fastball. And you can tell Nolan is a little bit in cruise control. He's just sticking with the fastball mostly, going to the breaking stuff to get strikeouts, but mostly just pumping him in there. Another fastball strike outside corner.
Fastball, no doubt. Santos' strength probably grades out as his best pitch if you were looking at it from a scout's perspective.
This one, dribbler down the first base line. Santos racing over, and it's going to stay fair. Unbelievable. It rolls all the way to the bag, and it's a base hit for Makai Lloyd, and he's the first Bulldog to be on base twice today.
It's easy for us up in the box here to say he that Santos probably should have picked that up and flipped it over to first, but I'm assuming from his angle it's a little tougher to tell in real time how close it was to rolling out. Either way, it was going to be a tough play.
And then you have the other way with Malik Stevens had a really nice drag bunt a couple of innings ago that just barely went foul before it touched third base. Chop foul at home plate. Oh, no, it's fair. And the inning is over. Tommy Easley chopped it right in front of home plate. And as expected, here comes Elliott Jones to talk to Alvin King about that. That looked like it was in the batter's box when Escobar picked it up. But he throws it to first, and that'll do it. No runs, one hit, one left. We go to the bottom of the sixth, 9-0 Wildcats right here on the Cat Eye Network. Boris Pena leads off the sixth for the Wildcats, needing just one run to break into run rule territory as they have a 9-0 advantage here. Terrence Sales still on the hill for the Bulldogs, and the first pitch to Pena is outside, 1-0. Sales came in after the first three batters of the fifth inning, and he threw 18 pitches to get the requisite 3 outs to get out of the fifth. Pena, nice slapper the other way for a base hit right past the diving glove of Martin.
Seen a handful of nice opposite field hits for the Wildcats tonight. That one perfectly played through the hole over there between first and second.
The loudest one, obviously, Colton Olison's 2-run single last inning that went pretty much in the exact same spot that Pena's just did. Here's Robert Moya, and he's probably had one of the more frustrating nights of any Wildcat at the plate. Does have an RBI single in the first, but then he popped out softly to the shortstop. First pitch upstairs, or excuse me, second pitch upstairs, 2-0. And then hit into a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning when he had runner on first.
4 Wildcats with multiple hits tonight, only 1 without one. Of course, that's Irvin Escobar, who has
a pair of walks and a run scored. He is technically 0 for 0. Fielder's choice and 2 walks. Well, if I'm Irvin, I think I'll take it for a 9-0 lead. This one is hammered out to right center field and deep. Going back to the track, to the wall. Oh, it's off the top of the wall and stays in the yard. Moya digging for home. Coming home from first to score is Pena. And there's the 10th run for the Wildcats on Robert Moya's crushed ball to right center.
Moya just had to challenge the deepest part of the ballpark out here. Just about anywhere else, that ball is gone. Anytime you're seeing Robert Moya make his way down there for a triple, ball was high, ball was far, got every bit of it.
I was about to let loose the vocal cords with an adios amigos. I did not get a chance.
Isn't that the worst when he takes it away from you like that?
It's kind of an anti-ground rule double.
Right. Trying to think of a term for that. I'll workshop that one for a bit.
The wall robbed the home run. Here's Escobar. As we mentioned, technically 0 for 0 with a fielder's choice and 2 walks. And he's got Moya at third after his RBI triple. First triple of the season for Robert Moya, as he stands on third base. 2 straight foul tips for Escobar means the count is 1-2.
Don't look now with the Wildcats only a half inning away from sending this one home early.
This time up and in, 2-2 from Sales. There is another Bulldog warming up. Can't really tell who that is from here.
Especially hard with the camo jerseys to make out a number.
Here's the 2-2 to Escobar. Strike 3 called on the inside corner, and Escobar is rung up. And you can tell that Irvin did not agree with the call, as he's going to complain about it to Jason Hodges as Hodges steps up to bat. You could definitely tell he walked up to Jason and said something that I won't repeat here.
I guess it's better than saying it to the home plate official.
And we will have a pitching change. That's the end of Sales. At least he goes out with his first strikeout, first and only strikeout of his evening. Sales threw 23 pitches, gave up 2 hits, a run, 1 earned, 2 walks.
No front numbers on these A&M uniforms makes it a little difficult to see who's trotting out here for us.
I believe that is Evan Crenshaw, wearing number 25. Crenshaw, in 10 appearances, is 2-3 with 6 saves. No, correction, 6 starts, 1 save, with an 8.92 ERA. He's second on the team in innings pitched with 37 1/3. He's given up 49 runs on 55 hits, 37 earned, with 31 strikeouts and 21 walks. So he has been one of the most used pitchers for the Bulldogs today, and crucially, the first right-hander that the Wildcats have seen tonight.
With a lot of these SWAC teams we see as you get deeper into a weekend or games like this, get into the heart of the bullpen, a lot of these SWAC schools struggle once you get past their premier arms. Obviously, at this level of college baseball, your premier arms are going to be your weekend starters. There's really no way around that. You don't necessarily see a lot of stud closers or anything else, save for a rare spot here or two. So when you start to get deep into these bullpens, things can get bad quickly. And even for the Wildcats, not a ton of depth in the bullpen necessarily, so it's going to be important as you approach tournament time to work into counts and make guys work and bump guys early, especially when you're seeing the likes of a Hunter Veets or some of the Alabama State arms, multiple of them that have been great all season. It's going to be a pivotal part of the approach as we head towards the tournament.
Outside of guys like Yohan Gonzalez and Alec Mendez, the bullpen for the Wildcats is pretty shallow, but that's kind of par for the course for this conference and for a lot of the low to mid-major conferences. Bullpen a little bit suspect, so once you kind of chase that starter, you can blow games apart like the Wildcats have done tonight.
Credit to them for taking advantage, getting a starter out early.
And here's Jason Hodges. And the first pitch is grounded straight back up the middle. Moving over is Mervillis, and he throws across the diamond for the out, but Robert Moya does score from third. So give an RBI to Jason Hodges as he goes out 6-3, and it is 11-0 Wildcats.
And what more can you say as we get deeper into this one? The Wildcats has been a complete effort all around the diamond. Pitching outstanding at the plate. It's been kind of T-ball for a lot of the night, and defense has done what the defense always does here at the Jack.
You can never tell with these Friday games how the rest of the series is going to go. My favorite example, at least this season, was the Mississippi Valley State series. Colton Olison takes a pitch up near the helmet, and it's 1-0. That series, the Wildcats run ruled the Delta Devils, I think 12 or 13-0 on the Friday game, and then Saturday and Sunday had to come back from deficits late in both of those games to sweep the series. So you never know. High pop left-hand side. Moving over Mervillis, and he makes the catch to end the inning. 2 runs, 2 hits, none left. The Wildcats are in position to take this one via run rule when we come back right here on the Cat Eye Network. Welcome back to Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Wildcats just 3 outs away from wrapping this one up in a run rule fashion. It is 11-0, so the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M need 2 runs to keep this one alive and send us to the 8th.
Wayne Nolan Santos is throwing the ball. I don't anticipate that happening.
First batter up is Blake Martin. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. Martin struck out in the second, popped out to center in the 4th. And it's another fastball high, 3-0 from Santos. I know this means nothing, but again, one of his warm-up pitches went way over Escobar's head into the backstop. This one straight down the middle for strike 1.
Bunch of other games going on in the SWAC tonight. Get you some scores for that. This inning here.
Here's a 3-1, low ball form, and the first walk of the game issued by Santos is the leadoff in the 7th to Blake Martin.
Grambling State defeated Texas Southern on the road today. Final is 10-8.
That's first versus second in the Western Conference right now.
You got Prairie View A&M versus Southern. The game kicked off at, when I say first pitch, was at 6 p.m. Central. Can't get stats for that one. Not seen them live online.
Here's Chevalier Doris, lined out to center field and then struck out his 2 times at bat today. Blake Martin sitting on first is only the 5th base runner the Bulldogs have had tonight. They've never had more than 2 on base at a time, or sorry, more than 1 on base at a time. But that is another ball low. Santos behind the count 2-0, and out comes Escobar to talk to his talisman pitcher, and Coach Hernandez is going to trot out there too, probably just to try and calm down Santos. There's nobody in the bullpen. It's his game to finish.
Certainly don't want to let up a pair of runs here and maybe have to force the bullpen arms to come in later in this game. Not that that would be the most disastrous thing in the world, because I'd like to think you don't have to use up some of your best arms, but I think everybody here would like to go home early.
For somebody who is only going to pitch one day this weekend, you'd want him to go as deep as possible and finish the game right here.
Finish up those SWAC scores while everybody gets back into position. We got FAMU Jackson State. The Rattlers lead 7-4, bottom of the 8th.
That's a big game. We kind of need Jackson State to do us a favor this weekend.
Alabama State is up 11-1, the top of the 3rd at Mississippi Valley, so that one's getting ugly.
Back to play. Here's the 2-0. Hit high in the air to right field. Tracking back is Hall. He moves over and makes the catch. That one looked good off the bat, kind of held up in the wind, which is blowing in from right. And the same wind that probably helped the 2 home runs for BCU get out to left field, saved that one from going out to right, and there's one away.
Wind is always a little bit adventurous here at the Jack. No doubt tomorrow it will blow out to right field.
Be completely different every day. That's how it goes out here. First pitch, a ball. Looked like that one missed a little bit upstairs. Here's Chandler Stocking. He had that very odd double that bounced between Olison, Hall, and Hodges in right center. It's the only extra base hit for the Bulldogs tonight. That one a ball low. And the first 3 batters of the inning have all started on 2-0 counts from Nolan Santos. Santos this time gets the call from Alvin King, and it's 2-1.
Nice pitch there, just caught the bottom corner of the zone.
When these teams met, I'll pop foul, back in the one game they played up in Alabama, the Wildcats won a heart-pounding adventure, 12-10. They had to score 4 runs in the 9th to win it. Tonight, a bit more comfortable for the Cats. 2-2. Chop foul will do it again.
It's the kind of mindset you have to come into in a series like this. Team only has 3 conference wins, but you cannot let that get inside your head. Come here, take care of business, and do it resoundingly. Needs to carry over into the rest of the weekend.
Luis Liptrat started that game for Bethune-Cookman, but the majority swing and a miss at a nice breaking ball that ended up in the outside batter's box. And another strikeout for Nolan Santos.
Make it 11 for the starter tonight.
But back in the game up in Huntsville, Pablo Torres and Yohan Gonzalez went 7 innings in that game combined and really paved the way for the Bethune-Cookman comeback late in that game. So now with 2 down and the Bulldogs down to their last out, here's Bryson Hammonds. Hammonds has 2 pop-up outs today, 1 to center field, 1 to second base. Of course, if you write F4 down on a baseball scorecard with the Wildcats on defense, Colton Olison could have made that catch anywhere from right on second base to the outfield wall.
It's kind of how he plays. I wouldn't be surprised if he was at the outfield wall.
First pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 0-1.
It's going to be interesting to see as we get closer to the tournament what the Wildcats are going to do about that 3rd weekend starter spot. We've got Gaviria locked in after Santos, but that 3rd spot has been a little difficult.
It's been Luis Liptrat at times this year. It's been Marcos Gamboa. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 2. No, strike 3. Ball game over. This one belongs to the Maroon and Gold in run rule fashion. 11-0. The Wildcats perfect in all phases of the game tonight, batting, pitching, and defense as they take this one at a canter.
Just the 3 hits allowed for Nolan Santos. Does what Nolan Santos does. When you have him on the mound, you have a chance to win every single night. Lucky for him tonight, the bats came, did their thing. Great way to start off a weekend with some serious confidence on all sides of the ball. Just have to carry that in what's going to be a grindy rest of the series. 3 games on deck over the next 2 days.
12 strikeouts for Santos tonight. I'll see where that puts him at his season total. That would be 102 strikeouts on the season for Santos.
Only 11 away from his personal school record.
And the way he's going now, that's only 1 more start, so we'll see. He'll probably be the Friday starter next week up in Tallahassee against FAMU. Final line scores tonight. Bethune-Cookman, 11 runs on 14 hits, no errors. Alabama A&M, no runs on 3 hits, no errors. And in a game like this, you can overlook some of the little things that happen. The Wildcats ended 2 double plays. They left the bases loaded twice, but you can't really be disappointed with an 11-0 win.
Yeah, of course, the Wildcats have dealt with some adversity over the last couple weeks. Obviously, they got swept at the hands of Alabama State, dealt with a loss of 2 of 3 at Jackson State, some midweek beatings in the middle there, which are always a little difficult. But then you come out with a game like this, and you wipe the slate clean. We start our winning streak today, and you move from there.
Nolan Santos improves to 4-3 on the season, tosses his 3rd complete game. I believe all of those were 7-inning run rule victories. His final line, 7 innings, 86 pitches, 3 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts, and no earned runs. Tyler Campbell picks up the loss on 4 innings pitched 102 pitches in those 4 innings, gave up 12 hits, 9 runs, and struck out 1, walked 2. That'll do it tonight from here at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Thank you to everybody who tuned in on the Cat Eye Network. Tomorrow, video without commentary, as I will be away for the games tomorrow. And then Sunday, 2 o'clock, we'll be back here to finish the series against Alabama A&M. It'll be me and Daryl Natil on commentary for you. For Bryce Wojnowski and our entire crew up here in the press box at Jackie Robinson Ballpark, my name is Michael Turillo. Thank you so much for watching, and have a very pleasant rest of your evening.